Hey, what's up, guys? So, did you hear about the convent that had 3 nuns who wanted to quit? I mean, I didn't know nuns could quit, but apparently they asked the head nun, who told them the only way they'd be allowed to quit was for each of them to commit a sin that night, then come back and confess and drink from the holy water. So I guess they wanted to quit pretty badly because they all went out and committed sins. And the next day, the head nun asked the first to confess. And she said she robbed a liquor store. So the head nun told her to drink from the holy water and then dismissed her. Then she asked the second nun to confess, who said she killed a man. And again, the head nun told her to drink from the holy water and definitely dismissed her. But before the first two left, they heard the head nun ask the third to confess, who said, "I'm afraid my sin was the absolute worst. See, last night I peed in the holy water." Okay. So speaking of quitting, did you know that the second Friday in January is known as National Quitters Day? Strava, which is a social network for fitness, did a study and it analyzed hundreds of millions of activities logged by users and found the second Friday in January to be the day most people lost motivation and quit on their fitness plans. Now, this January 1st was a Friday, so I'm going to guess that one didn't count, which means that as of last Friday the 15th, people had already started quitting on their goals. Now, obviously, fitness goals are a bit different than professional goals. In fact, I'd argue that many self-employed salespeople are just now getting serious about establishing goals for 2021. So wherever you stand in relation to goals for yourself this year, I want to continue the conversation from last week. And if you saw that video, you remember we discussed setting goals using the SMART framework while adding acknowledgments about all of the progress that you made in 2020, regardless of any of your stated goals. We call that measuring the gain. Now, this helps because goals, by their very nature, put the focus on what you haven't done. And measuring the gain shows you proof that your life and your business is actually improving. Now, one of the best ways to build confidence is to witness your own progress. Because lots of things can seem intimidating until we do them, and then suddenly they're not so intimidating, right? Now, there's another way to make sure that you balance out your SMART goals and successfully make it past National Quitters Day. And I learned it from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He used a different acronym, and he encouraged people to set ODAAT goals, or one day at a time. Now, Dr. Dyer was a huge advocate for living in the present moment and believed that there's no way anyone could predict in January how they'd be living life in September. And I think 2020 was the perfect case study validating his lesson. I mean, reviewing how we behaved in the past or predicting how we'll behave in the future doesn't erase the fact that everyone has to live their life one day at a time. And it doesn't erase the fact that all of your power lies in the present moment. So on the surface, when Dr. Dyer would talk about dropping New Year's resolutions and encouraging us to stop making long-range decisions, it would seem like he was against goal setting altogether. But upon further study, that's not at all what he was trying to teach. See, he knew that people don't quit on their goals because of some character flaw, but because our minds naturally resist the notion of living in long stretches of time. See, on some primal level, we know that's just not possible. So part of staying motivated is remembering to take things one day at a time. Whatever framework you use to set your goals can be strengthened by Dr. Dyer's ODAAT philosophy. For example, instead of setting a goal to remove sugar from your diet this year and then letting your mind dwell on the entire year, set the goal and then ask yourself, how do I want to eat today? Just today. And then at the end of the day, let's say you successfully avoided eating refined sugars. If you remember to measure the gain, then you'll have given yourself credit for the progress that you've made. And Dr. Dyer would say that now that you're a new person, so you proved you could do it. So from that point of view, make a decision the next day, but just for that day. And at the end of the second day, measure your gain again, and then as a newer, more successful person, make a decision for the next day. How do you want to eat on day 3? Now, you can do the same thing in your business. Lead generation on a daily basis is something that you know you need to do. You know that your actions today come with a lag time. You know that much of the business that you're doing right now is a result of your lead generation actions a few months ago. Yet, the resistance salespeople have to consistent lead generation partly comes from thinking about it in long stretches of time. So rather than letting your mind dwell on the fact that you should be lead generating every working day this year, just ask yourself, how do I want to run my business today? Or better, who needs my help today? Or I like this one, who needs me on my A game today? But just today. And when it comes to lead generation, it doesn't even need to be the whole day. I mean, we're almost always just talking about 1 or 2 hours of the day. So just put in your time today. And then at the end of the day, notice how you feel. I promise you'll feel accomplished even if you don't happen to set an appointment. Just putting in the time is a gain. Now, as a new and improved agent, decide how you'll spend the next day and then repeat this cycle. You know, people quit on their goals because their focus is misplaced, and Dr. Dyer's one day at a time lifestyle is a great way to stay focused on what you can control, which is the present moment. And when people do hit their goals, what has really happened is that they've controlled enough present moments to get to that place. And that's why one of my favorite affirmations is, I focus only on what I can do now. It's through small actions that I achieve big things. And that just happens to come from Dr. Dyer's publisher, who was Louise Hay. Okay guys, that's what I got for you this week. But before you go, drop down and leave me a comment. Let me know what your goals are this year. I'd love to hear how big some of you out there are thinking. As always, it's going to be a fantastic week. Thanks for watching. My name is Jason Edwards, and let's go live a top producer life.